Hello and welcome to Beach View, our podcast about different things.
Hi, it's Jen and Bryce coming to you live. Not really. Not really, but
No.
it's a beautiful morning, and we're coming to you to talk about all kinds of cool stuff and things.
And today we're talking about our 1-year anniversary. Hooray!
I always think of that song, Do You Know What Today Is? It's our anniversary.
I don't know that song.
No, you don't.
No.
Nobody does, just me. But yes. So I'm very excited. Our 1-year anniversary. So we started this podcast a year ago, and I want to say it really came out of kind of COVID times, right? I mean,
Yeah.
We're kind of not.
I guess, yeah.
I guess that to me it did. I wasn't really doing much, obviously just staying home a lot, and I think you're the one who had the idea to do this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yeah, it sounds like fun. Let's do it. And that is how Beach View was born.
Yep.
In a nutshell.
It's actually been longer than a year.
Well, yes, because if you recall, we recorded a couple of sessions.
Yeah.
Right? And then ended up posting, I think our third one was our first published podcast.
Yeah, and that went up on the 27th of March, 2021.
Wow. I kind of, in a way, I feel like we've been doing it longer, and in a way, it feels shorter.
Well, it has been a little bit longer.
Yeah, you're right. Which is what you just said, yes. But, so, looking back, I took the time to go peruse, our year's worth of podcasts, and I thought it was kind of cool because a lot of the stuff was fresh in my memory, of what we talked about. And then some of it, I was like, oh, I don't remember this one. I had to go back and listen to some snippets before it came back to me. So it was just looking at them new again, or listening to them new again. So, but I thought it was kind of cool to go back and look at all the stuff that we talked about and the music we've listened to and the guests we've had on the show, over the past year.
So I drew up some statistics about our podcast. So
cool.
We've had 40 episodes.
Wow.
This is our 41st.
Wow, cool.
So 15 of them are music episodes, and 5 of those music episodes are album episodes.
Okay.
6 are about video games. 7 are about internet video stuff. 2 are movies. We had 9 episodes with guests.
Wow.
We had 4 current viewings. 2 about food, and then, I thought about counting TV ones, but, it's not... We kind of talk about TV in several episodes, but that's never really the focus. And the rest are, various topics that I didn't feel like I could easily categorize, so...
I would say those are categorized as stuff and things.
Yeah.
Right?
I guess.
Yeah. That is very interesting. What was surprising to me is we talked about music a lot, but I thought it was more than that, honestly, because it seems like we talk about music a good bit. I didn't know we had 9 episodes with guests, though. That's more than I thought.
Yep. At least if I counted, right?
I'm sure you did. Yes. Well, I didn't do any statistics, but I kind of just went back to see, just kind of the scope of things that we've talked about, since last year to now. And I want to say that I feel like due to this podcast, I really have broadened my cultural horizons. But I know I've talked about this before, but, over the past year, I've watched new things, I've read new things, I've listened to things that I probably wouldn't have listened to on my own. For instance, let's get into the YouTube stuff, like Charlie the Unicorn and Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. I would never have watched those things on my own. And so I feel like I've been exposed to new and more interesting things than I would have ventured into by myself. So, thanks for that, Bryce. You really helped me, like I said, broaden my horizons there. Also feel like I learned a lot about video games that I didn't know before. And another thing that stood out to me is that I really do not know much about music theory.
Speaking of that episode, did you listen back to that one?
I didn't listen to the whole thing. I just kind of like started it, but
when we did that, I during the editing put in the examples I used.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're listening to it, it would play the thing, which I thought was neat.
Yes, I thought that was pretty cool. I mean, I listened to it after we did it, but not like just now when I went back to listen to it. I just listened to little snippets of it, but I thought that was a funny one because I really had no idea. I didn't know that much about music theory. So I feel like I've learned a whole lot this year. I don't know if you've learned a lot from me. I think it was the opposite. Like I learned more from you on that kind of stuff.
Well, we always have interesting things, in current viewings.
Yes.
So I've learned about some TV shows and books and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, see? That you would never look at on your own, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think I like how we have different viewpoints. We're from different age brackets, different states. We have different interests, and I think like through this podcast, we're discussing things from our own perspectives and just learning from each other. So I think that's always a good thing. And I like when we have the guests on that, we're learning things about them as well and from their viewpoints. So, I mean, that's what podcasts are all about, right?
I guess, yeah.
Well, it's like listening to different people's perspectives on a topic, or in our case, several different topics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, do you have any favorite episodes?
Yes. So, funny enough, my favorite podcast was our very first one, which covered our favorite things. That one was my favorite because, first of all, it's like we kind of introduce ourselves. But I realized I don't think we like actually introduced ourselves in that podcast. But because we had done a couple before, I think like we didn't say like, hi, I'm Jen, I'm Bryce, But we introduced ourselves in a way that it kind of gives our listeners a glimpse into who we are. And it just kind of like starts off our podcast with a little bit about ourselves. And so, I don't know, that one was my favorite just because we're just, kind of learning about what you like or what I like kind of thing.
Yeah. So I have a few that I put down. The Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared episodes, just because I love the series.
Yes.
And I had fun talking about it. Caffeine, which is a really interesting topic to me, and I did research for that one, so that was neat.
I like that one as well. I thought the caffeine one was a really good one, because, again, I learned a lot that I did not know.
Short, obscure YouTube videos. I had a lot of fun with that one, and I like those videos, so...
Those were fun. I really that's another one that I wouldn't have watched any of those probably. And I think we went through like several of them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's quite a few short ones. The music theory quiz one, which we've already talked about.
Yeah.
And the current viewings are always fun.
I like those.
From both sides. It's fun to talk about a thing and to listen to you talk about a thing you've been currently watching or reading or
I
what
like
have
those too. Yeah. I feel like it kind of it tells you like what we're doing right now, and kind of what we're enjoying. And again, it kind of gives a glimpse into like who we are and what our interests are, so I really like those a lot. I also liked the Spirited Away one, only because I had never seen that movie, and it was my first glimpse into kind of that genre, and I really enjoyed it. And I think the thing that I really enjoyed about it was when I watched it with all of you guys. So when I say all of you guys, when Bree, who was our guest, and you and I all watched it together. And the thing that kind of I really enjoyed about that was that everybody else in the room was like, this is so weird. Like, why are y'all making us watch this? And us three, we three were like, this is good. Like, we were enjoying it. And everybody else in the room was like, what is this? So I don't know. I thought that was really funny that we had that similar like viewpoint and everyone did not. So I enjoyed talking about that when The Spirited Away. And then another one that I really watched, well, like you, I like the current viewings ones. I really enjoyed how we listen to music, because music is something that I think, obviously I have a big interest in, and so do you. Mm-hmm. And so I thought that one was a good one, just to kind of, again, give a glimpse into how we listen to music and what we take away from it, kind of thing.
Yeah. 15 episodes about music is definitely something that we care a lot about.
Yeah, I love that, because it's always different kinds of music, though, So I mean, we went from Kanye to the Wonder Years, and you know what I mean. It's very different, and even Taylor Swift. We had Brenna on the show. Mm-hmm. So that was fun, going through all of those different kinds of music. Always a fun time. What did you think about our guests? I know we pulled from our family, and that's always funny to me, because it's just, it's fun to get them on here and kind of show them what we do and see what they think.
Yeah. Oh, I should have broken down what the guest episodes were on.
I know, I didn't think about that either.
So, from memory, 3 of them were albums. 1 of them was a movie.
2 of them were food.
Yeah, 2 of them were food. 1 of them was about that manga. What were the other 2? Oh, 1 of them was, the one we did with Travis, where we talked about projects he was working on and album art, I think.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
And I think I'm missing one. Oh yeah, one of them was about music, the how we listen to music.
Oh, that's right. So we still have a couple of family members we haven't taken in on the podcast, so we need to get them on here. I think Travis was our repeat guest, right?
And Bree.
And Bree did Spirited Away, and what else?
The manga.
Oh.
The Enigma of Amigara Fault.
That's right.
We get her on for Japanese media for some reason.
Yes, she is our expert on Japanese media, so we're gonna go with that.
Yeah, sure.
We'll bring in our Japanese art correspondent, Bree. Yes, she'll enjoy that. Going back to the "Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared," that was hilarious to me, because, again, I never would have watched these. If you haven't seen "Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared," you need to go watch them, because it'll blow your mind. But I liked how it was like a series, and we went through like a couple of them at a time, and each one was like crazier than the last, kind of thing. But I thought those were real interesting. Have they come out with any new ones since then?
Not that I've seen, but I haven't looked recently.
Well, they're very disturbing. In a good way, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, I like them a lot.
Yeah.
Speaking of series and watching them, Charlie the Unicorn.
Yes.
Which was actually surprising to me, because I expected it to be bad. I kind of just, we didn't have a topic that week, and it was something I had been thinking about, so it's like, why don't we do this? And I was expecting it to not hold up, it was something I enjoyed from when I was younger, but watching it back, I thought they were actually pretty decent, which was surprising.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they were like ridiculous in a way that you're like, what? But they were good. And I think that my lesson here is that, a lot of times I would start to watch something or hear about something and I'm like, I'm not watching that. That looks ridiculous. But I actually, once I like started watching it and getting into it, I was like, hey, these are pretty cool. So I think it's, don't judge a book by its cover kind of thing. Don't judge Charlie the unicorn by his crazy sidekick unicorns, But I think like one of the common threads in here though is like art, just art in different media.
Mm-hmm.
We do a lot about music, and I talk a lot about books, and you talk a lot about video games. And to me, like the creativity, I know I say like creativity in like every episode. I noticed that, but that is kind of an overarching theme for me, is that I really like these things, even if they're a little odd or something I wouldn't normally be exposed to, because of the creativity that goes into it. So that was something I noticed when I went back to listen to some or look at the topics, was that I feel like art is kind of an overarching theme.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, between the current viewings and all the music stuff, and then
yes,
we talk about art in general sometimes too.
True.
It's definitely a theme.
Yeah, writing and just different things. Another one that, again, I've gone so many years on this earth without watching Star Wars.
Yep.
And you had suggested it, and I was like, it was kind of almost like a badge of honor that I was like the only person besides Travis that I knew that hadn't seen Star Wars. And I was like, that's kind of a silly badge of honor. Like, I need to just watch this because obviously, like, it's a really cool, movie franchise because everyone loves it, So I was like, let me see what all the hype is about. So I finally sat down and watched Star Wars. I don't think I was gonna get into it, and I didn't really get into it, but I'm glad that I watched it because now I understand it a little bit more. I understand the references. I mean, people still are always talking about Star Wars, or even like going to, I guess, is it Universal Studios that has like the big Star Wars like themes and rides? Is it Disney?
We talked about this a few episodes ago, or maybe even
I never
last
remember.
episode.
I forgot Disney bought the whole franchise. Yes,
Yes.
But I always think of Universal as the one that has all the movie stuff. I guess that's why I think Universal. But
I mean, that was part of the reason they bought it. I assume was that they could, make a Star Wars theme park stuff at Disney World or Land or whatever international.
Yeah, and you're right. I
whatever.
knew it was Disney because I think I've shared this before that like I live in like a Disney hub here where everybody goes to Disney World except for me. And so that, yes, people are always talking about it because it's like a whole Disney thing. So I did know it was Disney. It was a temporary lapse of memory there. But anyway, the whole point is that because I finally sat down and watched Star Wars, I understand a little bit more about this, but I still didn't know until one of our recent episodes that The Mandalorian was a show. So
Yeah.
So I'm still trying to catch on there. So I don't think I ever fully will, but I'm glad that I'm glad that because of this podcast, I exposed myself to some, I don't want to say new things because it's not new. It's a very old movie, but new to me.
The way you phrased that made it sound like I exposed myself to toxic chemicals.
No.
I got radiation poisoning from watching Star Wars.
Yes. I probably did, if I'm being honest. I probably, but but no. So that was a kind of, that was a cool one.
Yeah.
That, again, I wasn't a huge fan of it, but at least I watched it.
Yeah, I'll repeat what I said in that episode. I think, like, even if you're not interested in Star Wars as, like, an ongoing project, it's interesting to watch the first one just because it's, like, such a big cultural thing to really, like, because I think watching it, you can really see why it became what it would become.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you there.
Oh, there was that one time
What?
we did Charlie the Unicorn again, and we were trying to find the second topic, and you were like, didn't know that narwhals were real.
See, I told you I have learned so much this year. I am still laughing at that. Every time I see something with like narwhals, I'm like, how did everybody know this was real? But I will tell you that I saw something recently about, oh, what was it? It must have been online or like in a show or something. And this like teenage guy was like, something about mythical narwhals, and the person was like, no, like those are real. And I was like, okay, so that's a thing. Like, I'm not the only one who thought they were mythical, right? I don't remember what I saw that on, but I was like, oh my goodness, somebody else did it. So it's not just me. Okay, they did not teach us about narwhals in school,
Well,
in my defense.
I mean, like, unless you're like I said at the time, I could definitely see it, because they're definitely, like, unicorns, but for some reason that actually happens with them.
Yeah, and they're like crazy little creatures, too. I did some research on them after you told me they were real, so they're definitely weird.
Okay, so here's, like, a follow-up question. What's another animal that, if you didn't know was real, you would think is a mythical creature?
Oh, to me, I think like, even though this is like a super common thing that you learn about, but giraffes are crazy looking. Like, I mean, they don't make any kind of sense. They have these like tiny little, I guess I don't know if they're antlers. What do you call them? They're little nubs that they have on their heads.
Those are.
And then they have a small, tiny head, and then they have this giant long neck that they like swing around and hit each other with. And then they have basically like a body of a much smaller animal. Like, it doesn't make any kind of logical sense. I don't know what was going on when those animals were made. Like, I feel like that would be more far-fetched than a unicorn, don't you think?
I don't know. And I can definitely see it. Yeah, they're very weirdly proportioned.
Yeah, I think also like squids.
Yeah, I was gonna say cephalopods.
Yes, like, I think in general, those kinds of like sea creatures are definitely like the stuff that myths are made of.
Yeah.
Don't you think? I mean, they're so outrageous. Or like poisonous frogs. Like, you wouldn't think.
I don't know.
You know?
That's I don't see why a frog couldn't be poisonous.
No, I just like super colorful, these tiny
yeah.
frogs that are super colorful and poisonous, and you're like, is that real? Like, you know, it just seems like made up.
I don't know, tons of things are super colorful.
Yeah, but I mean, if you didn't know and you're like, it looks like a little Lisa Frank type of, character, you know what I mean? Like cartoonish.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, speaking of colorful animals, velvet ants, those are neat.
I don't even know what that is.
Oh, there's a little, you might know them as like a cow killer or a cow ant.
Oh, okay, yeah, I've heard of cow ants, yeah.
Yeah, they're actually wasps, but,
Oh.
because the most common, like, ones you see don't fly,
Yeah.
and they look like ants, because wasps and ants are related somehow. I forget the, taxonomy, that's the word.
I mean, they kind of look similar to, like, their body shapes and stuff.
Yeah, but, yeah, they crawl around on the ground and look like ants, and they have very vivid colors.
Ooh.
Which, speaking of velvet ants, well, they're usually just red, but it's very, or I guess they can be yellow too, but it's very vibrant. But speaking of those, one of our topics was bugs.
Yes, I enjoyed that one. That actually came up this week because Travis said that he saw a roach.
Oh, no.
And that, brought up my hang up with, I love bugs and I'll rescue bugs, but I can't rescue a roach. So it brought up that crisis of conscience again,
Yeah.
Like, what do I do? I mean, luckily, like, I wasn't around the roach. He was just telling me about it.
Yeah, you don't want to be around roaches. They're not pleasant.
No. So, but that did come up, and I thought of our discussion on bugs, so.
Oh, speaking of, have you seen the news about the spiders?
Yeah, it's the giant, like, spiders the size of the palm of your hand that are coming to the East Coast.
The news article I read said that they were the size of a child's hand.
Oh, see, that's...
But I've seen multiple people say the size of a human hand, like an adult hand.
Sensationalized news, I think, is what it is.
Which I had actually read about these a few months ago.
Yeah.
And, yeah,
They, like, parachute down from the sky, supposedly.
Yeah, but they're invasive. They've been, like, establishing themselves in the southeast, so. And they're supposed to keep moving to the east, so.
They're not, like, harmful to humans, right?
No.
Yeah, so
most
I'm kind of like,
spiders
what's the big deal, y'all? Yeah, like, just chill. I mean, you see a spider falling from the sky that's the size of a baby hand, I think it'll be okay.
Yeah, it's just, recent news. I thought it was relevant to our topic there.
Yeah. And also the what was it, the killer wasp or whatever they were? What were they? That was like last year or the year before.
Yeah, I think that was 2 years ago. Yeah, they were establishing
the bee killers.
Yeah.
What was it?
I forget their names, but yeah, it was an invasive species of wasp that was establishing itself in parts of the US and Canada.
Yeah, it's like you hear all these, like, terror-inducing news bits, and you're like, okay, so what happened now? Like, was it really that horrific?
Well,
why aren't we having news coverage on it?
Those in particular were bad because bees in the Americas don't have natural defenses to them.
Yeah.
And that would mean that...
My point is, like, what happened? What happened?
I
think...
For
the bees?
People managed to track them down and, like, kill them, but I'm not positive on that. It's been a while since I've read about it. Well, they'd kill all the bees if you let them establish.
But we need the bees.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it would be that bad, but it certainly wouldn't be good.
Better not kill my little bees. Yeah. So, you see, we've had some interesting topics on here that are still relevant to everyday life.
Bugs are always relevant.
Yeah, absolutely.
Alright, so, I figure, how do I... I had a thing to segue into, but not a way to do it. So one of our first episodes was going to be on music hot takes.
Correct.
And that ended up getting corrupted, so it never got released.
Yeah.
And then we never went back to it.
Yeah, we have to do that soon.
Oh, no, I was gonna say, right now, give me some.
Oh, music hot takes. Oh my goodness. Okay, on the spot. Well, obviously, one of mine is that, and I probably said this on the podcast before, but that I liked Beyonce better when she was with Destiny's Child, not solo.
I don't remember if you said that on the hot take one or on one that actually got uploaded, but you have said that before.
Well, that's my hot take.
Yeah.
Bam, I said it. It's an unpopular opinion.
Yeah, I know mine was that Bohemian Rhapsody is overrated.
Yes, and I agreed with you on that one.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. Yeah. For sure. Another one of mine was that I feel like Nicki Minaj is very underrated.
Yeah, I think you said that in the episode, too. The corrupted one.
Yeah. I feel like she's very talented, and I don't think she gets... I mean, I think she has a huge following, but, like, I don't think she gets the props that she really deserves.
Mine that I said in the Corrupted episode, which we're apparently just repeating,
Yeah.
was
yeah.
that the original Nine Inch Nails version of Hurt is better than the Johnny Cash cover.
Yes. For sure, for sure, for sure. I
Which,
totally agree with that.
Yeah, a lot of people really prefer the Johnny Cash version, which, I actually read something about that recently. I think I read. Maybe it was in a video, but that the reason why people prefer that one is because of, who Johnny Cash is.
Yeah.
And they feel like it's more meaningful for it to come from him than, Trent Reznor in a concept album.
Yeah. I'm not buying it. I'm sorry. I agree with you on that one.
Which, as I've established, I don't really care about that sort of context.
Yeah.
And I think the composition of the original Nine Inch Nails version is just way better.
Yeah, I think so. Another one, I don't know if this is a hot take, but it seems to go against popular opinion. I don't like country music. It doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah, that one's not a hot take, but...
I say it's not a hot take, but everybody in the world here, at least, loves country music, and it's just there are few of us that do not like it.
Yeah, I guess it depends on where you're at. In the South, that's probably more unpopular than other places.
Yeah. It's not really a hot take, though, like you said. It's more of a preference, but...
Well, because plenty of people have said, don't like country. That's not an uncommon opinion to find.
Yeah, well, here it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Alright, so...
I thought of another hot take.
Oh, okay.
Jay-Z's voice does not match his appearance.
Yeah.
His singing voice is different from his speaking voice, and it just doesn't look like, it's mostly his speaking voice, that it would come from him.
You said that on the Corrupted episode, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I'm telling, look, this stuff stays with me, okay? Yeah.
I haven't listened to enough Jay-Z to have an opinion on that one.
If you go, listen to an interview or something that he does, I would not put together his speaking voice with his singing voice, or with him, you know what I mean? It's very funny to me. What's another music hot take?
I don't know if I have any more.
Okay, we gotta do another episode on that, though, because I'm sure I can come up with some more.
Well, I'd have to think on it.
Yeah, we'll definitely do that. So, I think, overall, I have had a lot of fun this year doing the podcast. It's been, a nice kind of project, if you will, to do every week, or most weeks, we try to do it. And to me, I enjoy going back and listening to them because, as I shared before, I forget a lot of times, what we talked about. So I'll go back and listen, and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that now, And I think it's fun to, Travis, my husband, of course, will listen to our podcast, and then, we'll talk about it. So that's fun to me. And I'll share it with, the family. Especially if one of them's a guest, I'll share the link with them, and then, they'll go listen to themselves. So, I don't know. All that's fun. It's just another way of kind of hanging out,
Yeah, we talk about a lot of interesting things and/or stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very true. Very true. So.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I guess in the future we'll have to do more albums and more random internet videos.
And more food.
I don't know about that one.
No, I know that's not your thing really, but but I had fun talking to, Sparky and Dad, and I think even Travis, we talked about
Did we?
Food. And you, I think you have an interesting perspective on that, so I enjoy it.
Well, because, my food topic was the weird forbidden tastes one, so.
And, you talked about, growing your own mushrooms and that kind of stuff.
That's right.
So, I think that. And cheese. You talked about cheese, so I think that's cool. Yeah, Yeah. So definitely music. We'll get back to some more of that. We need to do another album coming up, so we'll do that. But hopefully, our listeners that we have enjoy our topics too. So I always see those like Instagram or like TikTok videos where they're like, to my 12 followers who who watch our videos, thank you. And that's how I feel about our podcast. To our 12 followers. I don't know how many followers, but anyway, you know what I mean. It's just, it's funny. But I think that the fun thing is that we don't do this like to get followers. Like we just do it because we enjoy it. So I think that's the best part of it.
Yep, it's a fun thing to do, and if people listen, that's a bonus.
Right, exactly. Right, so, all right, do you have anything else to add?
Probably not.
Well, happy anniversary. I also noticed on a lot of these, I like sing stuff, so... Sorry about that, y'all. It's just my personality. But anyway.
Apologizing.
Because it's terrible, but...
Alright.
But anyway. Well, it kind of goes with our music. I am not a singer, so... But I get excited and I sing words. So, anyway, I will take us out, which still sounds sinister to me.
In the background.
Oh, there it goes again. Yep. Yeah, sorry about the cat in the background. But
anyway, hear your cat?
I do. Well, my headphones are like noise canceling.
Yeah.
So I can, like, once you mentioned it, I could hear it again. So
the cat has appeared in at least one episode in the background. Possibly more.
Yes, well, I would like to introduce our listeners to, this is Devereaux, because Cat du jour is very much a mute. She does not meow, typically. But Devereaux likes to make his presence known every once in a while. So maybe we'll have him as a guest as well. Yes. Anyway, that has been Beachview, wrapping up our 1-year anniversary. I'm very excited that we've hit this milestone. And hopefully we'll be coming to you with some more fun, interesting, obscure content. So thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.